How's it going, everybody? Michael here with the Happy Millennial channel, and today I've got a Volkswagen ID4 to show you guys. Here's the key. I'm gonna give you guys a thorough walk around on the car, show you some of the cool features and some of the stuff that I personally like about it, as well as some of the things that I don't like about it. We've had this one for about 6 months. This has been a car that we can't sell, but Volkswagen gave it to us to drive, experience, let customers drive it, and hopefully persuade people to want to buy one. So with that being said, let's get this video started and check out this ID4. And then this is the key. So this is the key that you get with the ID4. I'm big on how the keys are that come with cars. This one is really nice. It's just like the GTI keys I showed y'all in another video. It's heavy, high gloss black in the front and back, stainless steel on the edges. It feels good to touch. It's got good weight to it, so you definitely would know if it's in your pocket. Alrighty, so this is Volkswagen's ID4. This one is a 2021. For those of you who are curious, as near as makes no difference, it's about 200 horsepower, and then pretty similar in torque. But being electric, all that torque is delivered instantaneously, so it feels pretty quick. You've got the LED running bar that runs across the Volkswagen logo. I've always wondered why LEDs flicker on camera. This one is the Pro S version, so this is the rear-wheel drive. So there will be an all-wheel drive version available that will have 2 motors instead of just the one. This is the first rear-wheel drive car that I've seen Volkswagen make. So this is actually a pretty big step forward for Volkswagen as far as production and new technology in their cars, although rear-wheel drive has been used by everybody else. I've just never seen it used by Volkswagen. You got a matching LED light bar in the back. Runs across the side. The ambient lighting lit on this car probably looks best at night, but it's actually a pretty good looking car. It gets a lot of looks when you drive down the road. It looks futuristic and people just don't expect this to come from Volkswagen. Keyless entry on the front, not on the back. So these little notches are for your keyless entry. And you don't really, the door handles are actually fake. You've got these little sensors on the inside, so you can probably hear it unlocking the car, but these do not move, these are fixed. So do not rip those off. As far as the inside of the car goes, I don't know exactly what this material is called. These are plastics on the top. You got plastic on the outside. This is actually plastic. This is not leather. So the contrasting colors is just different colors of plastic. This is a leatherette material right here. Stainless steel door handles on the inside. And then unlike other Volkswagens, some of the Volkswagens have the blind spot detection on the inside of the mirrors. This one has the blind spot on the inside of the mirror housing itself. I've never seen this before either. When you look at the seats, so the leatherette material in these is perforated, but it's not ventilated seating, although that would be an option that you can get with these cars. This one actually has a massage seat function. So I've never seen that with Volkswagen before. So you've got a massage seat function available to you when you get the ID4s. And then I'm sure everyone's staring at it, but look at the way the dashboard layout is. So now we're inside. So instead of your normal dashboard layout with a big screen, you've got this tiny little screen in front. Just to give you guys an idea, the screen is not that big. My hand can cover the whole thing. The screen is about the size of your iPhone. If I held my iPhone up to it, it would cover the whole thing. So that gives you an idea of just about how big the size is. Looking at the battery level, you see that we've got 91 miles left of charge. These cars are rated for 250 miles on a full charge, depending on what type of charger you use. Level 3 is the fastest. Those are the ones that take about 30 to 45 minutes. But just giving you guys an idea, when you're sitting inside the driver's seat, this is going to be your view. So for the most part, it looks like your standard Volkswagen. Then when you get in, you can push the start button if you want to get the car to turn on. or you just turn the gear shifter. So, and you're probably wondering what those two drive modes were. D is your normal drive mode. So when you let your foot off the gas, if you're in drive, the car is gonna roll, versus if you have the car with that autonomous braking, or I'm sorry, if you have the car with that B, that's your auto-regenerative braking. That's kind of a mouthful to say, auto-regenerative braking. I probably still said it wrong. Anyway, so when you take your foot off the gas, it's one pedal drive, meaning that the car will start to brake, and it actually helps recharge the batteries as soon as you lift your foot off the gas. And I'll show you guys how that looks in a second. So if I let my foot off the gas now, you see how the car starts to brake? And you get that green bar to show you how much power you're saving or generating back to the batteries. And then when you take your foot off the brake and you go back on the accelerator, that blue bar shows up to show you that you're now using energy versus conserving it. And if it starts to brake hard enough, it will activate the brake lights in the back for you. Headlight functions are over here, as well as your light controls to the front of the car. I'm just leaving auto, so you never have to touch your headlights. All this stuff is kind of weird. This car has a travel assist function that I've never actually used. It's like it runs off your adaptive cruise control, so it works in stop and go situations for traffic. Materials in the car, your steering wheel is wrapped in leather. As you can tell, we've put 3,000 miles on this car. Well, you can't see the mileage, but we've put 3,000 miles on this car. And I will say the first thing you do, you probably can't tell as much on camera, but the steering wheel does tend to get a little bit dirty, and the white steering wheel might not be the best option for you, at least if you have dirty hands. The dashboard is, it's not plastic. I don't know what kind of material they use. It just feels like your standard dashboard. It feels like brushed aluminum on the inside. You've got a big display screen here in the center. Apple CarPlay, all your standard features. I will say one thing that's kind of cool. You've got smart climate functions. So with the smart climate functions, you can just kind of have the car give you what you need. So warm feet, and then these are your options. Warm feet, cool feet, fresh air. There's your classic climate menu, so you can control things like you're used to. One of the biggest issues I have with this car is the delay you have from when you get into it to when you can actually start to use the functions of it. Generally, it takes about 30 seconds to 45 seconds to actually get everything to start up in the morning. As far as your radio, this was one thing that just kind of drove me crazy. So let's just say I like the song I'm listening to and I want to know what song I'm listening to. It's a pain in the ass to figure out what you were listening to and figure out what you want to find. So you go to music, you can't just search channel stations like you're used to in any other Sirius XM setup. You have to search genre first, and then that genre, it'll give you options of all the different stations. Then let's say I want to figure out what I'm listening to. I like the song. In order to figure out what you're listening to, you have to push home. You have to push home again. That's the only way that you can figure out what song you're actually listening to, is from this main home screen. Because if I go to touch the radio, it doesn't actually tell me what I'm listening to. The black and white trim is actually really nice. The black, white, and blue for this car is a really good color combination, if you're wondering. And you look down to the center. These are adjustable, so you can pull these out if you want and use it for whatever you please. Your wireless phone chargers is in this cubby storage spot right here. You can see your micro USB-C ports, and then there are your cup holders. And you still got your panoramic roof, although the functions for that panoramic roof are now swipes. So instead of having actual buttons, you just swipe your finger. And there you go. That is the panoramic sunroof. And it goes all the way to the back of the car. So So what do you think? That's a lot of glass. So now you're staring at the sky. So I like that feature, that's pretty cool. And then we'll make it go back. So you just swipe your hand forward. Another thing I really like about this car is the ease of which you can drive it. It sounds weird considering how most cars you just get in, you start them up and you go. But I mean, this one, we're sitting inside of it and you would never guess the car was on. The only sign you have that the car is ever on is the synthetic humming noise that you get. So you probably can't hear it, but the car has an auto-generated humming noise that Volkswagen gives you. And you have one for drive, and then you have one for reverse. And if you're wondering, there's your backup camera. So really clear graphics for the backup camera too. These lines correlate with your steering wheel, and then you've got the parking sensors in the front and back. So yeah, the noise is different from in the car when you're in reverse versus when you're in drive. If you didn't have those noises, I mean, the car would be almost completely silent. And then those are your beeps from the proximity sensors alerting you. Put the car in park. It says there's ambient lighting adjustment in this one, so let's see. Okay, but it tells you everything that I could have. Not exactly sure why the ambient lighting is not available, but it says you can get ambient lighting. So I'm just kind of showing you guys the different menus in this car. So we've got 3,869 miles on this one. I will say some of these functions are actually pretty cool. So there's your temperature adjustment from the inside. It's just a swipe. It feels just the same as that roof or as your sunroof function did. Same with the passenger side. Your volume's the same thing. Swipe from there. Mainly when I drive, I just use the one on the steering wheel. You've got quick access to different menus here on the bottom. So your driver assist systems. Let's see what we got in there. Okay, maybe not. You've got your different views. So there we go. Okay, so if the car is not on, meaning if you do not have the 0 mile per hour or any of these functions here in the center screen, it will not show you any of your assist systems. So this is everything that's currently on this one. So you just go to assist, you got a lane keeping assistant, your adaptive cruise control, there's your blind spot detection. The car does tell you what the speed limit is, so you got your dynamic road sign display that shows up right in there. Your front assist, that's your autonomous braking, and then your SOS is just your emergency response systems. So that menu will not activate unless the car is actually on. But since the car is silent, you don't really know it's on. So you only get those noises as feedback when you're actually moving. If you're not moving, then the car doesn't make any noise at all. What do you think? There's a passenger seat. Passenger seat has electronic controls as well. It has the same functions that the driver's seat does in this car. So you've got a seat massager, memory settings, and then power adjustable front seats. So to give you guys an idea of the space in the back, I am 6'1". So I've got pretty good legroom in the back. I don't feel cramped or squished in any way, shape, or form. This is my headroom. Looks like I got a little bit of a halo. Ignore that. Anyway, so yeah, that's my headroom for the car. So I guess I got a couple inches of a headroom. I'm not the biggest guy in the world. I'm not the smallest either, but pretty decent sized headroom for adults in the back. And then here is how the back looks when you're looking at it from a passenger's point of view. If you have an ID4 and you have kids, you do have your micro USB-C ports in the back as well as 2 air vents. It is a dual zone climate control in this car. You don't have 3-zone. And there is your trunk space. So pretty decent sized trunk space for this car. It is not a giant SUV. I compare everything to Audis for the most part, so it's about the size of a Q5. So Audi will be coming out here with a Q4 pretty shortly, which is going to be almost identical to this. I'll show you guys what's under the hood too. But there is everything inside the front of the car. So there's no frunk. You still have your battery and some other things in here, but there's no engine either. So if you're wondering about the size of the wheels, they are 20-inch wheels. Power tailgate too. So yeah, that is a basic overview of the ID4. If you guys have any questions or if there's anything you want to see about it, let me know. I'm still learning a lot about these cars myself. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what you can expect or what the inside would look like if you're actually considering one.
Now.
Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the support. If y'all have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll get you guys an answer or figure out someone who does know the answer. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know what to do.